Welcome to Between the Lines, the sports betting podcast for DraftKings.com. I'm your host, Eric Rosenthal, and as always, we have Garion Thorne.
Hey, guys.
And Will Appleby.
What up, what up?
Well, we had an exciting week, a lot of preseason football where just chaos in those games, as always. I saw some people win big in daily fantasy on DK with their preseason teams, but made a little bit of money. Football. The Dolphins came through, Garion, and other various bets. Not exactly the way we planned.
Used to that sentence, the Dolphins came through. If my wife has taught me anything, that's a pretty non-constant event.
Yeah, well, it's kind of opposite world of preseason.
You got to remember this moment. Remember where you were when it happened.
I think they're raising the banner next week, so 1-0 in preseason.
One Garion a bet. Just up there next to the Patriots.
That was the difference between me and him too. So
actually, I didn't have enough confidence in my crappy favorite team to even put them on my picks. My Cardinals under did hit though, but
that was it.
Yeah, but we did reference how much we all kind of like the Dolphins -4. So they came through.
So hey, there is money to be made in preseason football. I cannot believe I'm saying that, but we'll also talk about today. There's some cool props out there for the NFL season that I wanted to get into. Let's actually do that right now. There's 5 props in the DK Sportsbook for most regular season starts between two quarterbacks. Eli Manning versus Daniel Jones starts it right off. Manning is -286 with Daniel Jones +200. Gary, I'll start with you. Do you like either side of that? And we'll go through the other ones, but where do you stand on these quarterback props and who's going to start more games?
This particular one, I'm not crazy about. Like, there's no part of me that would ever bet Eli at -286. I just think those are too heavy odds for a quarterback who we all know is done. It's just a matter of really diplomacy at this point. Like that's really the only thing that seems to be keeping Eli in this job. It's the only thing that's been keeping him in this job the last couple of years, where he had this consecutive start streak the Giants didn't want to break up, and this is such an awkward, sort of unprecedented situation where you have this guy who's been hot trash for 3 years now, but he's still the greatest quarterback in your franchise history, a 2-time Super Bowl champion. Like, you kind of still have to treat him with some respect and let him go out in his own terms, I think. I think the big tiebreaker for me in this one, because I also don't think Daniel Jones is any good, or at least at this stage of his career. His very nice preseason debut.
You're not putting him in the Hall of Fame after that one drive?
No. But I think for me, if their bye week had maybe come a little sooner, and I know we maybe sometimes oversimplify these things with like, that's a good transition point to bring in a new quarterback, 2 weeks of practice, et cetera, but they've got a week 11 bye. It's a really late bye week, and I think if you're looking as a just at least a somewhat logical point for Jones to step in, it'd be week 12. And by that point, he wouldn't have enough starts to overtake Eli. I guess with their terrible offensive line, there's always a chance that Eli gets hurt, and maybe that just solves this problem quickly. But I don't know. I think the Giants kind of like swore a blood oath to Eli Manning when he won that Super Bowl a couple years back, and it's really up to him to leave on his own terms.
Yeah, if Daniel Jones wasn't the quarterback, I'd be a lot more excited about betting +200 for anybody else that they would have drafted, but Daniel Jones, I'm not going to deal with at all. Will, do you have a strong opinion on that one? Because the next one, I really is my favorite prop of all the QB starts.
I mean, I'm pretty much with you. Like, I don't think they want to get rid of Eli Manning. I mean, I think that's pretty clear. Even though they drafted a quarterback number 6. So, I mean, this is one I would probably just stay away from because the value really isn't there.
Yeah. Now, Josh Rosen against Ryan Fitzpatrick is my favorite one. Like I just said, Josh Rosen -150 to have the most starts. Ryan Fitzpatrick +110. Seems to me like Rosen is going to be the quarterback of the future there. They're going to try to go with him. They obviously have no chance to win anything this season. It makes no sense to start Fitzpatrick in game 7, 8, 9, 10 of the season. So regardless of who wins that job, I see Josh Rosen taking over early because we know Fitzmagic maybe has a good game, maybe has 2 good games, but he will throw 4 interceptions and a half or something, and it'll be Josh Rosen time. And then win or lose, I think he's just the quarterback for the rest of the season once he takes over. Will, are you with me? And I just love Josh Rosen at -150.
I'm actually not with you. How about
You're not?
that? Plot twist.
Let's hear why you're wrong.
It's Ryan Fitzpatrick. We all know he ends up playing somehow, some way. So Ryan Fitzpatrick at plus money. I mean, if I'm going one direction here, I'm probably going that direction. I mean, I think they want to play Josh Rosen. I'm with you. But it's the Dolphins, and as Garion can attest to, they like to go 7-9, and if they're going to go 7-9, that's with Ryan Fitzpatrick. Also, something that just came out, as you were talking, John Mara said he wants to only see Eli Manning this season. So keep that in mind for the most quarterback starts. So, but I honestly, I like Fitzpatrick at plus money better than Rosen.
Well, let's go to the tiebreaker to Garion, his Dolphins. I would be shocked. I just think you're wrong on this one. I think Josh Rosen starts the most games, almost no matter what, regardless of how poorly or well Ryan Fitzpatrick plays. Garion, are you on Will's team or mine?
No, I'm with you. And I feel pretty strongly about it too. I think unlike the Giants, and sort of unlike the Giants in a couple different ways, I think Will bringing up that point about the Maras is key. Like, they have an attachment to their starting quarterback, and the Maras are, one of the original football families. I'm sure they want to project this sort of like air of class and, this guy's been our guy. We're going to see him through, et cetera, et cetera. There's no attachment to this ownership group in Ryan Fitzpatrick. And really, the ownership of this team and the GM and really right on down the line, they haven't said the word tanking, but they've danced around the word tanking. And I think they know what they are this season. They explicitly, for a team that's always tried to spend way too much money on mid-tier free agents every single free agency period, they're relatively quiet. Like, I think they know what this season is. And I think they know what Ryan Fitzpatrick is. I mean, he is the perfect scapegoat for this kind of situation where Fitz might come out and play 3 or 4 really good games off the hop, because that's kind of what Ryan Fitzpatrick does. But at some point he's going to give you the opportunity with a 3-interception or 4-interception game to turn to Josh Rosen. And I think at the first opportunity, the first clear opportunity there is to be like, we have to bench Fitzpatrick, it's Rosen's job from that point on. Because also, unlike the Giants, you're in a situation where they seem, for whatever reason, very dead set that Daniel Jones is the next guy, the next great Giants quarterback for the next decade or whatever. The Dolphins are sort of in a situation where they were handed Josh Rosen for free. And they didn't say no, because you don't say no to a guy who was a top 10 pick last season. But I think they still have their sights very set on the 2020 quarterback crop and the 2021 quarterback crop. And they're going to have a high draft pick next season. There's going to be a lot of pressure for them to take a quarterback. And I think they have to see what Rosen has. They have to give him 9, 10, 11 games to give him a serious chance of changing their mind about what they're going to be doing with these draft picks the next couple seasons. So I think the Dolphin situation is a little bit more clear-cut than the Giants situation. And I think Josh Rosen has to start more than 8 games this season.
Yeah, I just don't see a way he does it besides injury, because no matter also, we keep assuming like Fitzpatrick will just have a couple good games to start the season. Why are we assuming the Miami Dolphins and their horrible roster with Ryan Fitzpatrick, who's 36 years old, are somehow actually going to have any good games? Like, it's happened so many times before, but at a certain point, age catches up with you. Being Ryan Fitzpatrick catches up with you, and then having a horrible roster around you.
I just don't think the value's there, honestly. Like, I really don't think the value's there. I follow your logic completely. I can see that happening in like week 9 or 10 versus week 8, and I just don't think the value's there for this.
Maybe, but yeah, look, I would like to see Rosen at plus money. That'd be super, but I think the book understands the circumstances here, and I don't mind minus 150. I think of all these bets, I feel the most secure in this one.
Yeah, there's a couple more in the DK Sportsbook. I'll run through them quickly with the Redskins, Broncos, and Titans.
I just don't think the value's here for any of these, for what it's worth.
Well, yeah, like the Broncos and Titans, we don't even really have to talk about.
I don't really like this prop.
Like, I just want to throw them out there that the Flacco's minus 590 versus Drew Lock, and Marcus Mariota's minus 590 versus Ryan Tannehill. Probably stay away from both of those.
You're not touching the Titans. The Broncos, you might consider lock, but I mean, I wouldn't touch that. I don't like any of these. I just don't think the value's here.
There's such huge roadblocks. Like, we just know John Elway's fetish with 35-year-old quarterbacks. Like, there's no way Flacco's not playing all those games. And then Mariota like still hasn't signed his second NFL contract. Like the Titans need every single opportunity they get with Mariota this season to see that he is deserving of the $30 million he's probably going to have to make. Like it's nuts, especially if Dak Prescott's worth $40 million, I guess. So like really the Mariota bet, you're essentially banking that he gets hurt, which is not the worst bet in the world, but it'd have to be a pretty significant injury for Ryan Tannehill to play more games.
Yeah, last one, Dwayne Haskins is minus 200 to have the most starts. Case Keenum plus 200 and Colt McCoy plus 1,200. Any interest? Do you like Haskins in general? What are your outlook with him as a quarterback?
This one's interesting, I guess.
Yeah, I mean it's the same problem. Like it's very coin flippish. The value's just really not there. Like I don't minus 200 is not enough for me.
Yeah, I'm staying away. Do you like Haskins as a quarterback in general, real quick?
Yeah, I mean I think he can be competent.
We'll see. I'm not too high on Dwayne Haskins, but we'll find out this.
Well, versus Case Keenum and Colt McCoy. I mean, yeah, those are your options. So
that's the thing. It's like there's a case to be made that like maybe Keenum gets this job out of camp because like Jay Gruden probably needs a winning record this season to keep his job.
Well, that's the problem with all the NFL coaches. They all have to be competitive right away, which is why I don't like this prop.
But like I'm saying, like do we really even know Case Keenum is a better option for Jay Gruden to win now than Dwayne Haskins? Like even if you don't think that highly of Haskins, like I think that's still like a coin flip as to who's a better quarterback right now. So
they might even start Colt McCoy over Keenum. Like
maybe take a flyer on Colt McCoy because for some reason he seems to be involved in every single one of these conversations. Like, oh, he still has to pass Keenum and Colt McCoy on the depth chart. You're like, why do you keep talking about Colt McCoy?
I'm always surprised he's still in the league when I hear that name.
Good locker room presence, I bet.
Yeah, exactly. And Gary, I'm glad that you think there's a case to be made for Keenum to start. I don't know.
Even sitting on that one.
Yeah. Did you say that on purpose? I don't think you realized it.
I was just talking. You were sitting on it.
You had to go and point it out.
Yeah. All right. So there's a lot of preseason NFL games to get into. Like I said, every team is playing. We have games every single day. Actually, I think we should go that way regular football season where there's just games on Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday.
Well, they used to do that with college, and they kind of still do.
Yeah, it's interesting. So, luckily, we're going to have football to bet on and to watch every single day. I can't get enough of it. Ooh. It's horrible. It's terrible. Whether it's Hard Knocks, the fourth quarter of a preseason game, Nathan Peterman playing quarterback, I don't care. I love it so much.
Running 50 yards in one play.
Yeah, he's
like the beast he is.
Preseason football, gotta love it. But before we get to that, there's 5 props. I want to go through them quickly on who's going to make the playoffs or not. Just want to see where you guys stand on some of these. A couple favorites, a couple pick'ems, and some surprising numbers. First one, just yes or no. Browns minus 124, yes. Plus 102, no. Do they make the playoffs, Will?
Give me no plus money.
No, Garion.
I will say, I was on the other side of this bet when we were talking win totals, but I don't know. This is tough because no at plus money is tempting just in the sense I think they have to win the division to make the playoffs. Like I think
not going to. So
like the Texans or the Colts, I just think the AFC South gets a wild card, and I think the AFC West gets a wild card. So the Ravens I like a lot too. I think both these teams are going to be good, but if you're going to give me plus money, I think it's a coin flip. So I'm just going to take the plus money at no.
That's my theory.
I'm there too. I don't love either side of it. I wouldn't be surprised if Baker Mayfield and Odell Beckham Jr.
I think they want people to bet yes.
For sure.
I think that's why that's there.
Yeah, I would definitely avoid the yes. I'm not loading up on the no because, like I said, I love this team.
The value isn't great. Yeah, I mean the value's not great.
I like them a lot better value-wise before they got Odell Beckham Jr. I think people are overreacting to that trade.
Oh yeah, they definitely are. Yeah.
Yeah, obviously, he's maybe the best receiver in the NFL, so there's reasons to it, but I think the value is now gone from that. Cowboys to make the playoffs plus 110 that they will, minus 134 that they're out of the playoffs. Will, are they in or out?
Until I know Elliott's status, give me no.
Garion.
Yeah, it's going to be a no. I just think the Eagles are the better team, and again, I think you're getting the wild cards from other divisions in the NFC. They also were one of the luckiest teams in football last season. If you go by their Pythagorean record, they they outperformed their win projection by like a game and a half. So between that and the uncertainty of Elliott, I'd be hard pressed, even at plus money, to take yes.
Yeah, it's gonna be a no from me, dog. I'm not taking the Cowboys to make the playoffs in any possible way. No thanks. Now, these odds shocked me. The Kansas City Chiefs, how big of a favorites do you think they are to make the playoffs?
Probably like minus 300.
Garion, what would you think? Chiefs to make the playoffs.
That sounds about right. Maybe like minus 300, minus 320, something like that.
Okay, well, so it's only minus 286, yes, for the Chiefs to make the playoffs, plus 225 coming the other way. I thought that was shocking. I really thought
What's shocking
people
about
think the Chiefs are like the best team in the league, have the most explosive offense in the league with the MVP Patrick Mahomes, that there's almost no way they don't become a playoff team.
Oh, so you think the odds are too low for you?
Yeah.
I thought it was going to be minus 400, minus 500 with the public betting.
I think there's a reason, though, that you can't price them like they're the Patriots, just because, like, the Patriots get a free path to the playoffs every single year. It's called the AFC East, where, like, the Chiefs, like, there's a legitimate case to be made, and this almost happened last year. Like, people forget how close the Chargers were to actually winning this division.
They were.
I mean, there's a chance the Chiefs have to fight for a wild card spot. Like, I've already I said this 2 minutes ago. Like, I definitely think the Chargers and the Chiefs are both making the playoffs, so this wouldn't scare me away in any sense. But you do have to price them like a team that isn't necessarily a lock to win their division. So I think that's an important distinction.
Yeah, I think that's a fair point, and it was one I wasn't really considering. I still think that battle's going to be.
Though, if you're asking me, 100% give me yes.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, I could never put plus 225 on Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs to miss the playoffs.
Especially with Hill not getting suspended. I mean, that was really the only wild card, not to use another pun, out there. But, Tyreek Hill's fate was the only thing that was left undetermined. So now that that's determined,
maybe there's some value on the Chargers to win the division if you like them instead, but I think the Chiefs still end up with the playoff spot.
The Chargers are the NFL's Notre Dame. Every year, people are like, oh, my God, they're so amazing, and then they never live up to it.
This might be the year for the Chargers, Will. They're not going to win the Super Bowl. Things are going to go wrong at some point, but
I think it's USA Today, I think, has picked them like 2 or 3 years in a row to either make the Super Bowl or win the Super Bowl.
All right, well, fine. Bonus. Los Angeles Chargers minus 190 to make the playoffs quickly. Do they make it?
Yeah.
Yes.
Minus 190. We're all going on yes. So when we all say everyone gets tricked, everyone always thinks this is the year it gets better.
I don't think they're going to make the Super Bowl, but I think they'll make the playoffs.
Yeah, they're great at making the second round of the AFC playoffs. That's the Chargers season.
They're like the pre-Paul George Clippers of the NFL.
Yeah. Okay, now the Clippers are going to win the NBA championship in year one. It's a great point, Will.
That's why I had to qualify that. So,
all right. 2 more California-based ones. Maybe I'm biased, but the Oakland Raiders, who are on Hard Knocks, we got Antonio Brown, who is now asking fans on Twitter for helmets that they have in their house. I don't know what's going on with him. He has issues, maybe frostbite on his feet, doesn't want to play.
Frostbite on his brain.
Unless he gets a new helmet. But yeah, shout out anybody watching Between the Lines. If you have some sort of helmet that Antonio Brown wants, he'll offer you free tickets. So get in on that.
I like the thought of someone who watches this show but doesn't follow Antonio Brown on Twitter. Like hasn't been following this saga at all. Like, oh, this is news to me.
Yeah, but go get on that. I mean, I barely saw that he's asking fans for the helmet. I didn't know that.
I like how he saves $30 million with a helmet and just gives out tickets. That's his big prize. Like, here, right. One game of tickets. Well, I'll take my $30 million.
He bought a $1 million watch sight on, like, just right when he saw it, but he's only going to offer tickets for the helmet that he's sitting through arbitrations and threatening to retire over. You get 2 tickets to a Raiders game.
That's the first rule of Kijiji, though, man. You gotta start low and then you gotta build your way up. Like, you don't ever eBay too. You gotta always undersell and just lowball people and see what you get.
Yeah. For some reason, I think
maybe he'll mow your lawn or something.
I can see that happening. I think there's a very good chance that does happen. But plus 550.
I would love to see that happen now that we've mentioned that.
Yeah. Plus 550.
Mow my yard. I don't even have a yard. I'll move somewhere with a yard so you can come mow it.
That's episode 4 of Hard Knocks. Is just slow-mo shots of Antonio Brown cutting Will's grass.
I'd love to see it. So the Raiders, though, any chance they make the playoffs, 550 plus 550, yes, minus 835, no.
God,
Any
no.
shot in the world?
No.
No.
Hell no.
All right, final one. The Los Angeles Rams, fresh off a Super Bowl performance that did not go well, put up 3 points also in their preseason game, just like the Super Bowl, minus 250 to make the playoffs.
Yes.
Plus 200, no. Is it that big of a lock?
Way overlooked. I don't know why, but yes.
Same thing, Garion?
Yeah, and I think too, like this has been talked about a lot in like fantasy circles because it might have an impact on the 3 wide receivers, but you can already see that Sean McVay's like changing his offense. Like he's not using the 11 sets anymore. He's moving way more heavily to 12 sets. And again, I think that speaks to what we've been talking about a lot with this, like people undervaluing the Rams is they have a good coach. Yeah, he got out coached in the Super Bowl. That happens a lot when people go up against Bill Belichick. So the fact that he's already making the adjustments to the things they got beat up for last year is promising. I just think they are easily the best team in that division because I see Seattle regressing a lot. Well, maybe not a lot, but enough.
Yeah, I mean, what's the path to them not making the playoffs? The Seahawks win the division, they go like 9-7. I just don't see a path for them to miss the playoffs.
Yeah, like I know people like the Niners. I get it. I can understand some of the turnover stats and how those regress and normalize year to year, but even still, like best case Niners, we're talking like 9 wins. And I think the Rams are double digits like a lock. So I just don't see how they don't win this division.
I'm probably one of the highest people on the 49ers. I think they could definitely win the division, win 10, 11 games, honestly. With Jimmy G back there, they're freaking playing Mullins at quarterback last year and winning some games. And
still, we've seen Jimmy G has started in his NFL career like 12 games. Like, I'm not saying he's not good, and I'm not saying he's not a quarterback who can make the playoffs, but like, I don't know. We just automatically think like Jimmy G's going to step in and they're going to be a playoff team. Like, I don't know. Do it once. Do it one time. And look, I am someone who thinks that they go over. I think their total in the DK Sportsbook is 7.5. I like the over, even though it's a pretty public line. But yeah, I don't know. He's started like 12 games in his entire NFL career.
That's fair. I mean, it was easier to like him when he was Jimmy undefeated and hadn't lost a single game yet. But maybe we are buying into it a little too early with some early season success with the 49ers and Patriot success Jacoby Brissett had some wins there too. And maybe we can't count those too heavily, I guess would be the logic there. So it does make sense. So I think we're basically in agreement everywhere. Raiders not making the playoffs. The LA teams are. Cowboys and Browns, public loves them. We don't. And then the Chiefs should make the playoffs at minus 286. Kind of seem that the logic is all there on us. But hey, get in the DK Sportsbook, make your own bets.
For what it's worth, if Zeke comes back, give me plus money on yes for the Cowboys.
All right. Well, maybe we'll do a little side wager, Will, because I think he does come back, but I don't think it helps the Cowboys at all. Preseason NFL. This week, we have games Thursday, we have them Friday, we have them Saturday, we have them Sunday, and we have them Monday. So there is a million odds to bet on the DK Sportsbook. My Packers are plus 4.5 at the Baltimore Ravens. One of my favorite plays would be the Ravens minus 220 or minus 4.5 on the spread. The Eagles-Jaguars is an exciting game. The Eagles are plus 3 on the road at the Jags. But does anything stick out to you, Will, on these preseason odds? I mean, there's so many games and so many storylines that it's hard to follow everything. But anything you like specifically?
I mean, I think we learned from everything we've seen is just take the under. That's my that's my new. I hate betting unders, but it seems to really work in the NFL preseason.
It does. I mean, a few of those games went way over, and I think sometimes pleaser bets can also be a possibility as a prop to make. But it's really hard to predict.
And teasing the totals really seems to work well too.
Yeah, teasing these lower totals. They're higher this week. Last week, everything was in the 30s. And
well, the starters are going to play a little more this week, but not much more.
Yeah, you're seeing lines in the 40s a lot this week, and 45 over unders, 42, 43. So a big step up because of the starters and also coaches just opening up the offense more. Garion, is there any of these games that stick out to you specifically, and any bets that you like?
I mean, sort of for one of the reasons we were talking about before, just that, like, again, I don't think it's right to call it a quarterback controversy necessarily, but, we mentioned this last week when it came to the Dolphins. Like, I like kind of looking at teams that have two quote unquote NFL caliber quarterbacks on their roster, especially like week 2, week 3, when you've kind of got, I don't know, maybe 2.5, 3/4, you can definitely say these guys are going to play. And I don't know, I look at the Titans at plus money. I mean, they're +3, they're plus 138. I think you're probably going to get a lot of Marcus Mariota and Ryan Tannehill. Like, I just think you get enough, again, quote unquote, NFL caliber quarterback play to carry them through against a Patriots team that has never cared about the preseason.
And then they still demolished Detroit last week.
They did. But I don't know. I just think seeing the Titans at home, like home matters, but at home at plus money, that's kind of tempting to me.
Yeah, I see the logic there, and I really think it's all about quarterback play and who you're going to get. And hey, as long as you get a guy who's somewhat competent and not, I mean, Mike Glennon going in there throwing picks left and right isn't going to get it done. But as long as you have somewhat competent quarterback play, you can win these games. Will anything stick out to you? Bears
Giants under. I don't think Trubisky plays at all. Nagy hates playing the starters. So if it's Chase Daniel versus Daniel Jones, the over under is at like 41.5. So give me the under.
Damn, Daniel, that's a pretty high over under.
Jesus, I knew you were going
41.5. The one that sticks out to me, and it's part of my best bets for sure, is the Oakland Raiders are +4 against the Cardinals, or plus 165. With all the chaos going on in Oakland, with Hard Knocks going on, to me, I think Gruden cares more about these games than Kyler Murray, number 1 pick. They don't care what goes on there with the Cardinals in this preseason as much. I really think the Raiders do care, though. They put up obviously the win in preseason week 1, 14-3, and I could see the Raiders winning again. I think Gruden, like I said, cares about this game a lot more, and it's going to be all over Hard Knocks, and they know and they take care of that. So Raiders +4 or plus 165. I'm on both. Garion, you like that too?
Yeah, I don't mind that. I mean, one of the big sort of takeaways we had from week 1 of the preseason, or before week 1 of the preseason, was Cliff Kingsbury, again, coming out and openly admitting that they weren't going – and we all know this is the case, but to really come out and just straight up admit they would not be running any complex offensive schemes. He would not be showcasing any of the quote-unquote air raid offense during the preseason. Like, yeah, we know the Cardinals are on record at running at about half speed. And, once you get behind Kyler Murray, I don't know how much they really want to play Murray. I think he played a series in their first preseason game. Maybe he gets 2 against the Raiders. But, yeah, I don't mind that. I think really focusing on underdogs is probably the way to go, especially if you can see stuff like this, because when it gets down to it in the fourth quarter, like we can talk about all the analysis we want, but no one has any idea of what's going to happen in the fourth quarter of these preseason games. So if I can get some points or if I can get some nice odds, I think that's always the direction to go.
Yeah, for sure. And because you really don't know, and it's just players that you can't count on one way or the other. So don't go betting the farm, but there can be value. We had some positive wins last week, and I think we can do it again this week. So any final thoughts on preseason week 2, Will?
Bet the under.
Bet the under. I'm saying take the Raiders plus points or the money line. And Garion's final thoughts are
just Tennessee Titans, man. Plus money. I like it. Ryan Tannehill, preseason hero.
Ryan Tannehill. Let's do it. All right, to baseball. We're gonna get some bets in today. There's a lot of big favorites on the slate, from the Yankees to what would be the Astros at the White Sox, who are minus 335. Lots of things on the board, but one game we're all in unison on is the Cardinals against the Royals. Can you talk a little bit about why you like that game in general, Garion, and maybe a prop bet?
Yeah, I just think Jack Flaherty has been so good recently. It's really hard, even with them being such overwhelming favorites on the road. And the Cardinals, Flaherty's numbers don't really reflect this too much, but if you look into a lot of their splits, they are so much better at home and have been so much better at home this season. So that's a little scary, but I think there are ways to go about this where you don't have to bet the Cardinals at crazy odds to win this game and still sort of get the same results. And one of the ones I really like is, and the DK Sportsbook is great at offering pitcher win props, which, wins are dicey. We know that. Like, pitchers can throw fantastic games and still end up with a no decision or a loss. But Flaherty's numbers, again, his last 6 starts, 0.94 ERA, 2.20 FIP. He's got a strikeout rate above 34%. And this is not out of nowhere either. This guy was a very heralded prospect, and we knew he had this potential. So he really seems to be in the best groove of his career right now. And the Royals have actually sort of been hitting for power in August, but they're still awful. Their OBP for the month is below 300. They've struggled at every aspect of the game that isn't just occasionally running into a ball and getting it over the fence. So you've got Flaherty at plus 100 to take home the win. I think that's great odds considering I think they're minus 235, the Cardinals in general, on the money line. So the disparity between those two lines is crazy for a guy who I think works very deep into this game. And even just the Royals team total at 3.5, you can get minus 106 if you don't think the Royals are going to score more than 3 runs in this game. And I think another thing to think about there is, for as great as Flaherty has been, if you go back the last 30 days, the Cardinals have the 3rd best bullpen FIP in baseball. So I just don't know how the Royals are scoring a bunch of runs in this game. So you can basically get even money on 2 bets that are essentially Cardinals win without having to get them at minus 235.
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense. And the first 4 guys in that Royals lineup are capable, in my mind. You got Whit Merrifield, Alex Gordon, Hunter Dozier, and Jorge Soler. But after that, it becomes just a disaster.
Minus 106 is Flaherty's strikeout price too.
Yeah.
It's 6.5 to go over, and he's done that his last 5 starts. That's one of my best.
The
best
5 straight starts, he's gone over 6.5 Ks.
5 straight.
Wow.
Again, he's got a 34% strikeout rate his last 6 games. Like, he's been so good. And like you were talking about, with that part of the Royals order that's like the formidable part of their order,
the top half.
the top half, but 3 of the 4 guys are right-handed, and Flaherty has dominated right-handed bats so far this season. So really, the way to even like kind of nickel and dime him into being poor is to have left-handed bats, and the Royals don't even really have that aside from Alex Gordon. At least any capable left-handed bats.
They've got that in the bottom of the lineup, but like Nicky Lopez, I'm not worried about him. He's just not a quality MLB hitter.
Gloria, like I don't really care.
Add Nicky Lopez to the list.
Go again, Will?
I said add Nicky Lopez to the list.
Yeah, shout out Nicky Lopez. I'm sorry. I doubt he's listening. I think the odds on him listening.
MLB Eric Bledsoe, another one.
Yeah.
Eric's Eric Bledsoe list. We need to keep track of that. It's getting quite long.
Eric just attacks the Midwest constantly.
I'm sorry. That's not intentional. I guess I
Damn California coastal elitist. Always attacking the Midwest.
Oh, brother. Well, okay. Where else on the baseball diamond do you want to head, Will?
Yankees home runs. Give me all of them. Pick your Yankee and bet on them to hit a home run.
I mean, those props against the Orioles, it seems like they're just not adjusting them enough.
Gleyber Torres has 13 home runs himself against the Orioles, and he's over plus 300 to hit a home run.
Do you guys know the last time a player hit 13 home runs against a single team in a season?
When was it?
The 1930s.
Oh, my goodness.
Was it a Yankee against an Oriole?
I don't know. It's probably Ted Williams or something. I can't remember. But
it didn't exist. It doesn't exist anymore, I'm sure.
And that was, I assume back then, like every team played every team like 75 times because there was only like 8 teams. So, yeah, this is nuts.
Gleyber and Ursula have easily the best home run prices. Or Glaber's like plus 300. I can't remember. He's over plus 300, and Ursula's over plus 400. Give me both of those. Like I have two. I have them, Judge, and Sanchez in my best bets for home runs. But Ursula and Torres I like the best because their value is extreme.
You know what would be interesting? I wish I could bet on a hit by pitch because I believe Torres might get hit by a pitch today.
Another one I like too. It's Ursula is, I think it's plus 170. I want to say to go over 1.5 total hits, and he has 3 hits in 3 straight games against the Orioles. So
yeah,
and he gets a left-handed pitcher today. So I mean, there's lots of money there in that Yankee game to be.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting because I just think the odds are being bet too high in this game. I do like the home run props, but I think the odds are being bet up a little too high on the Yankees. They've won 2 in a row, and the DK Sportsbook doesn't just give out money for free.
No.
Betting the Yankees against the Orioles. Eventually, it's going to flip the other way. We saw that against Verlander the other day, where the Orioles had one of the most amazing wins I've seen all season. I think they're the biggest underdog of the year, or right up there. And we saw them get to Verlander early, collapse late before they got the walk-off homer. But
Verlander tends to lay eggs. The Yankees are putting up like 12 runs a night, and now they get a left-handed pitcher, and they have nothing but right-handed power.
But I agree with like Eric's sentiment here. Like, I wouldn't bet the Yankees money line. Like, I think they're over -300, right? It's like
or
something. Like,
I don't trust the Yankees bullpen.
Yeah, and even last night, like, it was funny because after Rio Ruiz hit that walk-off home run against the Astros, like, he hit a 2-run single in the 9th last night. And they had the tying run at the plate in a game where, like, you know, the Yankees hit 17 home runs. They shouldn't have to deal with the tying run is at the plate in the 9th inning. But, yeah, I there's no way I'm betting the Yankees money line. But I think attacking it like Will has attacked it to great success, too. It feels like every Tuesday we do this show, the Yankees are playing the Orioles. So I think that helps out. But, I got no qualms with just attacking the home run props here.
Yeah, it seems to be paying off.
He's over +500 too. He's not a big home run guy, but I mean, he hit one against the Orioles last week, so it's value. I mean, I would just pick and choose and roll.
He should get 5+ plate appearances too. I mean, it'd be shocking if he didn't get 5 plate appearances leading off the game. It could be even 6. Who knows? If they blow up this Orioles bullpen again. You know, they're going to be highly owned in daily fantasy on DraftKings.
Oh, everybody's going to stack the Yankees tonight. You'd be stupid not to.
Yeah, but eventually the Orioles, someone's going to get through like a shutout or have a low-scoring game eventually.
A shutout for them is like giving up like 4 runs.
Yeah, an Orioles shutout.
It's an Orioles shutout.
What's it too is like Means was an all-star, which is one of baseball's great things where every team has to have an all-star. But, like, he was outperforming his FIP by 2 full runs at the start of the season, and ever since he's come off the IL, he's got an ERA of like 10.5. It's like normalization has just hit him like a Mack truck. So I don't think that special night where the Orioles get a shutout is coming this evening. But yeah, look, don't invest way too much in these obvious smash spots because, you know, books aren't in the business of giving away money, as Eric has pointed out.
Yeah. So let's get actually the best bets so we can continue to talk baseball while we do so. But I wanted to get there because one of my best bets is the Orioles for $100 at +255.
Oh, here we go.
I know it's no fun to do that. It's no fun to be on the big underdog side, but
now the truth comes out about all the talk. We see how this is where he was going. Okay.
I just think the price is too high. I think it's been bet up too much. The public obviously is loading up on the Yankees.
The Astros being -500 a couple nights ago was absurd. Like,
yeah. It's baseball, and the Yankees have so many injuries from Didi to Gregorius to Stanton obviously isn't there, and just Hicks is gone, and there's too many guys out on this team. Their bullpen,
their pitching is a disaster. That would be the reason I would like this pick.
Bullpen isn't great.
Bullpen starting, even their good
I
starts
feel like
have been bad. So
I know the odds aren't nearly as good, but I would almost just rather take the over, because if you think the Orioles are winning this game, it's going to be like a 7-6, 8-6 kind of game. Like they're not winning a 3-2 pitching duel tonight.
No.
And that way you can also still recoup money if the Yankees just win this game 14-2, like they're probably going to. But yeah, the odds aren't nearly as good. So I respect your courage here, Eric. I will say that.
Yeah, well, I don't know how much courage I have. I'm also
do something.
You think the Orioles are underdogs at +255, or the White Sox are underdogs at +290?
Oh, you parlayed them together, man. Let's win a house tonight.
Goodness, no parlay of them together. But I am doing $100 also on the White Sox +290. I don't love it. It's not fun.
Wait, with Dylan Cease?
Dylan Cease is my guy tonight against Greinke. Who knows? Maybe he's not ready with his new team. He's on the road, and I don't know. I just think that there's some value there, and who knows? +290. I think the White Sox can get a W at home.
After all that talk about Dylan Cease, now you're betting on him. All right.
Betting on Dylan Cease. And then I have the Cardinals. We talked about them, all the reasons why. -235. Last when I looked, I put $235 on that. And then because I just think they win. I think the Royals offense is just a disaster right now for all the reasons we already said and got into that. And then my last bet, $65 on the Oakland Raiders, plus 165, Hard Knocks special. Plus 165, $65. I think the Raiders win this game. It's fun. It's fair. Go John Gruden. Go Antonio Brown Strom on Hard Knocks. I can't wait for it. He's going to be mowing Will's lawn coming week 4 on Hard Knocks.
We need to do a live show when that happens.
Yeah, we'll live stream it. All right. Will, what are your best bets? I know you're going Yankees home runs, but let's hear what you're
All
giving.
right. Before we go Yankees route, I've got some pitching strikeout props I'm rolling with. Matthew Boyd over 8.5 strikeouts for some reason is plus money. I have no idea why against the Mariners, who get no hit like, I don't know, every night basically. He's plus 105. So give me 100 on Matthew Boyd over 8.5 strikeouts. He had 10 against the Mariners the last time. He's gone over that number 5 out of his last 7 starts, if you don't count his very last start, which he was pulled after 2 innings. So we'll give him a mulligan there. 100 on Jack Flaherty, like I said, over 6.5 strikeouts. He's done that 5 starts in a row. We're going to make it 6 at minus 106. Give me 100 on Jose Quintana over 4.5 strikeouts. He is very up and down, but as long as he's not extremely down, he should be able to go over 4.5 at minus 155. And then give me 50 on 4 different Yankees: Aaron Judge, Gary Sanchez, Gleyber Torres, and Giovanni Urshela at plus 230, plus 210, plus 305, and plus 425, each to hit a home run. I got 2 home runs out of this group last week. I think I can get at least 2 this week. I'm ready to see.
All right, I love it. I mean, betting on Yankees to hit home runs against Orioles has been very, very profitable for quite some time. So to be on the other side of that game is not too exciting tonight. But hey, I think the Orioles got a shot. Maybe they put up a lot of runs.
Hey, there's a reason I didn't pick home run and team to win. So there you go.
Ooh, interesting. So Garion, where are you going on the board?
So I already mentioned these ones, so I'll start with them. But I'm going to put 150 on Flaherty to record the win at even money. I just think with the distance he's going to pitch in this game and with how well he's pitched lately, I just think the odds are so much better than taking them at minus 235 to win. And obviously there's some risk there, but I'll take that risk considering the odds. And also $100 on Kansas City to go under 3.5 runs at minus 106. Again, that's a combination of Flaherty and the fact that the Cardinals bullpen has been fantastic across the last 30 days as well. Give me $200 on Texas money line at minus 143. Eric was talking about some huge favorites we have on this slate. I really think the Rangers deserve to be that level of favorite tonight, and they're just not. I mean, Lance Lynn has arguably been the best pitcher in the American League this season who does not reside in Houston. And he's going up against, yes, a very hot Jays team. They're 10-5 since Bo Bichette got called up. They scored 19 runs last night, so I can understand why maybe that would affect this line a little bit. But I look at this game in the vein of that Cardinals-Royals game. Like, I really think Lance Lynn should be like a minus 200 favorite tonight, and he's not. The last 7 times Lynn has faced a team below 500, the Rangers are 6-1. The last 6 times the Rangers have faced a left-handed starter like they will in Thomas Pannone, they're 5-1. The last 6 times Thomas Pannone has started a game for Toronto, the Jays are 1-5, and he has a 10.65 ERA as a starter so far this season. Like, I get it. I've been watching the games. I'm pumped up. But the fact that the books are now kind of respecting the Jays, they're respecting them way too much tonight. So give me Texas money line at minus 143 for 200. And then Nico Goodrum to hit a home run. Kind of a weird one, but plus 575. Huge odds. He's been crushing left-handed pitching going back to the start of July. His WOBA is up over 460 within that span of time. And I always say this name wrong, but UC Kikuchki, I believe I'm pronouncing that right. Second most home runs allowed in baseball this season, 29. He's given up like 12 home runs in his last 6 starts. I think someone on Detroit hits a home run. I don't mind Miggy's odds either at plus 500. He's actually hit lefties pretty well this season, but I think Goodrum, $50, not necessarily a long shot, but yeah, Seattle just gives up so many home runs. So I think someone on Detroit's going to hit one tonight.
Yeah, someone probably will, and plus 560 is definitely good value. Against the guy with the second most home runs in baseball. Basically, he's an Oriole at that point, honorary Oriole.
Honorary Oriole.
Not an exactly good place to go, but I like that a lot. I think best bet's going to be real interesting who comes out with a win this week. One more thing I wanted to talk about, it caught my eye and I wanted to pass it along, was Matt Ryan. I know I talked about it before, but 25-1 to win MVP. Now, I saw this stat. The Falcons' schedule this year, the first 10 weeks of the year, every game is inside of a dome. It's either home or inside of a dome. And then I play at Carolina. Then every other game is, again, inside of a dome, except for 2. At San Francisco, California, not going to be freezing cold or bad weather. And at Tampa Bay in Florida, not going to be freezing cold and bad weather. So they got 13 games inside of a dome, 2 in California and in Florida, which are going to be nice and warm, and then the 1 game at Carolina. I just see their offense getting huge boosts from being indoors all the time. Matt Ryan is the second favorite for most passing yards, third favorite for most passing touchdowns. Seems to me like all the quarterbacks that are up there, Patrick Mahomes, Andrew Luck, Aaron Rodgers are huge favorites for MVP. And then Matt Ryan, who's right there as well in the yards and touchdown props, is 25-1 to win MVP. And they're going to be inside all the time. They're going to be putting up big numbers. I just love Matt Ryan at 25-1 to win MVP. Just had to shout it out there, and I just can't believe that's the number. I've got to assume it's going to come back down to the 15 to 20-1 range before the season starts. But if not, Matt Ryan for MVP, I'm all about it. Tell me why I'm wrong.
They aren't going to win the division.
Yeah, and that's the tough part. Like, look, I love that stat and sort of how it correlates to Matt Ryan's success. But even if you look below Matt Ryan, like, I've said this before, so this is not like a new take, but it's kind of relevant with the fact we all think the Rams, well, Eric's a little on the 49ers, but we all think the Rams are definitely going to make the playoffs and probably going to win that division. I'm still saying the fact that Jared Goff is 33-1 is crazy. Like, that's a team that could just win 13 games again. And he was top 5 in almost every major passing category last season. If the Falcons go 8-8, there's just no chance he wins that award. I don't think it matters how many yards he puts up or how many touchdowns he throws for. Even like Deshaun Watson at 30-1, like, this could just, like, the Texans, for as excited as everyone is about the Colts, people forget the Texans actually won the division last year. And it's something they do quite a bit. And I think he could be in the midst of a breakout season, or I mean, he's already broken out, but like a huge season. I just like those numbers better than Matt Ryan.
Yeah, you think he could become like the Patrick Mahomes of this year, where he's just better than everybody else on the football field, Watson?
Yeah, I mean, look, he's got the receiving talent. The offensive line's still a little shaky, but I think it's better than it was last year. So.
Yeah, exactly. Will, any thoughts on that, and final thoughts about the NFL or betting in general this week?
I still think the Bears are getting underappreciated. So we'll see. Just wait. Yeah.
We'll find out. We'll hit our best bets in the DK Sportsbook. Remember that the odds and lines are subject to change. See website for actual odds. And if you or someone you know has a gambling problem and wants help, call 1-800-GAMBLER. Well, I think we had a great show. I think our best bets are going to be real interesting. I liked everything you guys said today. Flaherty for the win. Flaherty over the strikeouts. Cardinals going to get the win from me. I guess I took the safest route there. And all those prop bets for home runs, whether it's Yankees hitting them against the Orioles. Good room at plus 560, I like too. And then, of course, don't forget our preseason football bets. There's a million preseason football bets, and again, games Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday to bet on. Maybe I'm going to bet on all of them. Who knows? Just for the fun of it. But for Will Appleby and Garion Thorne, I'm Eric Rosenthal, and we just went between the lines.